Hey folks, welcome to Digipack Snacks. My name is Colin.
And I'm Meg.
And this is the family travel podcast where we talk all things high, low, and the long miles in between. And today we got a good episode for y'all.
Yeah, we're talking about all things nature, the outdoors, having fun outside.
We've mentioned this a lot in past podcasts, how we love nature versus cities, but today we're actually going to say why and why it's actually a gift and how it actually benefits families to go on these nature escapades.
Right.
You know?
I'm excited to share.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. Before we get there, though, you got to tell the people about your week because you left me.
Gosh, so dramatic. I didn't leave you, not emotionally. I was only physically. I had to be in San Antonio for work. I was there for 4 days, and it was, I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of fun.
It looked like a lot of fun. You were sending me all the restaurant updates throughout your time.
Food was 10 out of 10. I had tacos that, in a restaurant where I'm sure they understood English and can speak English. But it was one of those like, nah, you have to speak Spanish. Mm-hmm. And so, but like, I just felt so intimidated, like, because I hadn't practiced my Spanish in months, but I had to try anyways to order. But I had just the most authentic tacos. I'm in Texas. So I asked my friend, like, where can I go eat? And this place, Taquitos West Ave, you go in, there's like 4 dudes waiting for your order, and as soon as it leaves your mouth, they're like, and then boom, you have a platter full of tacos.
I mean, you told me you ate the meat choices. You had head, which
Cabeza.
just means meat from
The head.
But like a chicken?
No, of a cow.
Okay. You had tongue?
I had tongue, lengua.
From a cow?
Yep.
And then what else?
And then I had the bistec, which is, I guess, the
steak.
Yeah, some sort of
just
steak.
Context clues.
Yeah, bistec. Yeah, but the unique ones was the head and the tongue. Tongue I've had before.
Which makes you an adventurous eater, because I feel like I'd go to a restaurant like that and get my standard, like al pastor, or, I wouldn't necessarily go for the head.
They didn't have al pastor. They only had it on the weekends.
Oh.
So, I mean, we can go back.
You just had to venture out. Still, though, you're an adventurous eater. I don't know that I would have tried those.
Well, it was delicious.
I bet.
I had 6 tacos. And they were $2 each.
That's incredible.
I know. I love San Antonio. Also, I just love Mexican food.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had that. I had I went to this place called Curry Boys, and I got their specialty, which was a smoked brisket with green curry and rice.
Interesting.
I mean, and how I described it on our stories and Instagram was that summed it up. A Southeast Asian dude in Texas, and I loved it.
And then you had a magical moment in the bathroom.
I did. Gosh, let me explain. They had a picture of the Twin Towers in KL, in Malaysia. And so I was like, wow, no one ever frames photos of Malaysian things.
Right.
Thailand gets all the credit, Philippines, Indonesia. Malaysia's the weird child of Southeast Asia.
They're left behind a little bit.
We're a little left behind.
So it just felt special that you were like, man, San Antonio sees me.
I felt known. Not gonna lie. But yeah, the people were great. Met a lot of good people there, and a lot of different kinds of people from everywhere too, it was just fun. It goes to show that our country is so big and so diverse, and you really get to experience a lot, not even needing a passport.
Yeah, and you were saying something about the size of San Antonio. It was like the 7th biggest city in the States.
Right.
Which I had no idea. I would have put many cities in front of San Antonio. It wouldn't even be on my radar.
Right.
Even I wonder if it's bigger than Dallas and Houston.
It's not.
Oh, it's not. So they're above it.
I don't know. Maybe Dallas is more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I need to see the list.
Yeah. But yeah, Texas is awesome. I would love to go back to Texas and do more stuff there. We should.
But bring us this time.
Yes, because traveling solo was not fun. It's just not fun. It's not fun just sending text updates, sending pictures of what I'm eating, sending videos of where I am. Like, it's just not my jam. Like, I'd rather experience life with somebody else. Even if I had a buddy came along with me, that would have been great. You know?
I mean, I see what you're saying. I think I disagree. I think I'd happily go somewhere by myself tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah, just like 4 or 5 days, go to a fun city, especially if it was in Europe. Join a food tour, do a little bike tour. I think I mean, not every time, don't get me wrong. I love traveling with you, love traveling with the girls, but I do think that there's a part of solo travel that might excite me, and I've never done it. I've never, I mean, aside from visiting friends in a different city, I've never gone somewhere with the intention of not meeting up with anyone. But it sounds kind of dreamy. I'm not going to lie.
I don't know, man. When you're sitting in a coffee shop and you sit down at the table by yourself and then it's quiet, then you're like, well, dang it.
Well, I'm not going to coffee shops, babe.
Oh.
I'm going to like Rome, and I'm walking all day. I'm grabbing a baguette, walking to the Colosseum.
They do baguettes in Rome?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's some French cafe there.
Oh, that's funny. I'm grabbing a snack. I'm walking to the Colosseum. I'm just busy. I'm not sitting in a coffee shop unless it's just
you
for a
would
quick
choose
drink.
Rome out of all places.
No, I'm just saying it as an example. I don't imagine going somewhere where the most exciting thing to do that day is go to a coffee shop.
Yeah,
like if I'm
I guess.
planning an adventure, I'm going to go somewhere fun where I have a million things to do.
Right.
And I'm going to say, man, I don't even have enough time.
Yeah. I would go on a trip like that if it was like a retreat, like a fly fishing trip in Montana. And I just go and, you make friends with other people, like-minded folk. I would go to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess what I'm saying is I've done a lot of solo work trips and I just feel like a zombie.
And you just miss us.
I do.
It's sweet.
It's good to be home. How was your week?
It was good. I mean, you were gone most of it, and that's not why it was good. We missed you, but the girls and I stayed busy. And then when you got home, we went to one of my favorite places on Saturday.
Yes, we did. You were like, Colin, you're home. We're going to make the most out of this week.
Yeah. Well, the weekend, I wanted to do something fun. And so we go to a farm in North Carolina. It's like about an hour and a half from where we live.
Yeah.
It's called Jeter Mountain Farms. And we always go there in the fall. And actually, I think we've been one time.
We went
last fall.
Yeah.
We previously gone to other places. Last fall, we went to this farm, and it just like blew our expectations out of the water. It was the best day. And we've kind of just been waiting for apple season to come back. It's a really southern thing to go get apples as a fall tradition.
Do you do that in a lot of places in America?
I don't think so, because I don't think apples grow everywhere.
Yeah.
Maybe they do.
Is
This
it an
sounds
East
really
Coast
ignorant.
thing? I do have a buddy that has his family has an apple farm in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I don't know
Maybe
about other
apples
parts of
grow
the country.
a lot of places. I don't know. I feel like I never heard about it until we moved to this part of the country, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a thing here. Maybe it's a thing where you're listening from. But we were planning on going again this fall. And then I just randomly saw online that they have other things that they grow in their fields. So you could go to their flower fields and cut dahlias and zinnias and cosmos, and you literally just pay for like a little bucket. You get to cut and fill it with as many flowers as you want. They also had blueberries and blackberries were in season for the picking.
Oh, so fun.
And so I told Colin, let's go. And it was the best day.
I mean, as soon as we got there, you just had like a smile.
Yeah. And, we paid to pick a little pint of blueberries. We paid to get a bouquet. They have like an indoor playground for the kids in a barn. They had live music, donuts.
They had a coffee shop. Great bathrooms.
Their bathrooms have they're literally so nice.
A barbecue food truck.
They do like cider. They have a
You could do flights of cider that they make on site.
It's everything.
It's almost like the silos in Waco.
And everything is branded.
I say that I've never been to the silos.
Yeah, me either.
I failed as a husband. I've never brought my wife to the silos.
I know. It was my dream once upon a time. I'd still really like to go.
Yeah.
But
we were just waiting for the crowds to die down a little bit.
It doesn't look like that's happening anytime
Really?
soon. I know.
It's still going?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
But Jeter Mountain Farms, even their branding, I think I said this, is on point. So you just feel like it's a little bit bougie when you go there.
Bourgeois.
Yeah, I love it. So anyway, that was the best day and honestly the highlight of my week, other than you walking in the door at like 1 a.m. the night before. I really enjoyed that. And I like that we get to visit our favorite place at least twice now.
We're going back for the fall. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to go back in a few
Maybe
weeks
we'll even go
fall.
twice in the fall.
I mean,
why not?
I know. If friends are going, I'm going to be like, yeah, let's go. I'll go pick some more apples.
Yeah.
And then I already told Colin that next summer he has to plan our July date, that we're going to go without the girls this time, because they loved picking the blueberries. They didn't necessarily love as much, like the flowers were like fun to them, but a little bit scary because there were a lot of bees. They got into it by the end.
Yeah.
But it would also be a great date to go on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that was a highlight. I liked it a lot. And the flowers are still displayed on our dining room table.
Yeah. It's an unusual week at the Mukri house, but hey, we got lots more going on this week, don't we?
I know. We leave tomorrow. Colin's doing another work thing.
Another work trip, but this time the family's coming.
Yes, we're headed to Atlanta, and then we're going to Nashville for the weekend.
Yeah.
Which we used to live there. I was trying to tell the girls.
Liv was born there.
Yeah, and so I told her we're going to Nashville, and she kind of lit up because she doesn't remember Nashville, but she's familiar that she was born there.
Yeah.
And I said, we're going to drive by our old houses. And
house is a great way to put it. It's more like a box.
It was a really small box right outside the city.
The boxes we used to live in.
Oh gosh. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to that and glad that we all get to go together.
It's going to be fun. We got a brand new segment in this episode today.
Okay.
And I'm calling it Country of the Week. It's a segment where we just chat all things we kind of know about this country. We might have been to it, we might not have. But today we're talking about one that we don't have a clue about. But we've seen lots of flight deals.
This sounds like a really good segment. Listen to us talk about something we know nothing about.
I mean, I've done some research enough to entice me to want to go there.
Right.
Let's just say it's on our list of places to go, right? And for great reason. So without further ado, I'm going to dive into it. So with good reason, Peru is host to Machu Picchu, one of the 7 natural wonders of the world.
I've always wanted to go.
Right. And it looks magical. I know it's super touristy, but it's on my list because A, I want to go there. B, you can get there and it involves trains. Mm-hmm. And, we are, I would say we are amateurs when it comes to train travel. We haven't done our time on trains. We've done, a sleeper train here and there, but I really want to do like one of those luxury trains.
Oh, well, yes, me too.
Yeah.
I feel like when you were saying that, I'm like, I mean, we've been on a fair share of trains.
Yeah.
But we've never done anything luxury.
No, we're like, you have your room and then you like dress up and you walk over to the
right. Our overnight train, we walked in and we were like inspecting the pillow and blanket for insects or previous occupants' hair.
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit not luxury.
Right.
Still fun.
And those are fun. Those are a lot of fun. And train travel in general, it's way less stressful than going to an airport. And why do we do this to ourselves? We go to a lot of airports. But you can take a bunch of trains to get to the base of Machu Picchu called Aguas Calientes, which is weird to me because, it means hot water or hot springs. And the neighborhood that I grew up in as a kid that I have a lot of fond memories was called Hot Springs. All right, so besides Machu Picchu, again, if there are experts on Peru out there that hey, want to take us to Peru with you, please, by all means. But another site I want to visit is Lake Titicaca, which is the highest lake in the world where I think it's the highest lake in the world. Fact check me on that. But what's cool about the lake is that there are people that live on top of the lake, and they form these man-made islands and huts. And you can go spend a night or two with the locals and learn about the culture. And that to me just sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. So you have Lake Titicaca. And of course, you're going to fly into the capital of Lima, Peru, which, I'm sure there's a lot going on there. But another site that Peru has, well, actually two more. Another site that I'm excited about is there is this town called Huacachina. Again, if I'm saying this wrong, please correct me. But it is a town when you think of a traditional oasis. In the middle of a desert, there's a town with palm trees and springs and boutique hotels and restaurants. And I want to go there. And I've seen a lot of our acquaintances on the socials have spent some time there. And I'm like, man, that should be on my list. And last but not least, I want to go see the Rainbow Mountains.
Yeah.
I want to go see some wild alpacas or llamas, and see them in their natural habitat versus a farm in South Carolina.
I feel like Peru is one of those places that just has some iconic things to see, like the Rainbow Mountains, like Machu Picchu. There are just these images and experiences that only can happen right there.
Yeah.
And so, it's on my list. It's on my 2024 goals.
Yeah. You know what place doesn't have those places?
What?
Malaysia. We have good food and good people, but, we don't have the Machu Picchu or a Rainbow Mountain.
You have the jungle and elephants.
We have, You
have islands.
We have orangutans.
You have a different kind of beauty. Don't sell yourself short.
Actually, no. Malaysia's pretty awesome.
We need people to go there.
Stop going to Bangkok, y'all. Go to Malaysia. Yeah.
If you need a tattoo, Colin's brother is a tattoo artist in KL.
That's right.
We'll give you the hookup. Just let us know. Send us a DM. And then if you want to go scuba diving, his other brother literally manages a dive resort.
A homestay where you can, on the budget, and you just go and dive for like a whole week.
We can cover all of your bases. And then if you go with us, we'll just take you on a food tour. So really, beyond the Mukri family, we got what you need in Malaysia. We'll show you a good time. And
it's on my list, and my dream one day is to take a group of people to Malaysia with me. You cannot find another better tour guide than me. Right here.
You volunteer.
I volunteer as tribute. I will be the best tour guide for Malaysia you have ever experienced. So Might be your first.
So maybe this segment is about Peru and Malaysia, because we kind of just started selling Malaysia.
Yeah, but hey, let's go to Peru too. You can get a lot of cheap flights there out of Orlando, out of Miami. I've seen a lot of those out of DC, and I'm talking in the 300s. So, and sometimes even 276. The number 276 is my brain because they had a flight there from Orlando.
Well, next time it's 276, can we just go ahead and book the deal?
I know we should have, but we had other trips booked.
Okay.
That we needed to
that still. Just, to me, I'm like, that feels like something I do and ask for forgiveness later, because 276.
Why didn't I do that?
Regrets.
Golly. I just have, we have like so many trips.
Yeah, on the dock.
If you look at my email app, people like have folders for different work tasks. I have different folders for the different places that we're going.
Yeah, it's a lot to keep up with.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Anyway.
But we will get there, Peru.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Okay, so switching gears into what we wanted to talk more about today, which is just being outdoors as a family, being in nature, taking vacations to places that are going to give you more time outside with your kids. Let's dive into it.
Yeah. And I think I will put a disclaimer that I think, we stumbled into this because of my hobby as a photographer. Are you about to yawn right now?
I did. I tried to hold it in.
Is this so boring to you?
No.
I said I was a photographer and you just started dozing off. No, but as a photographer, I always enjoy taking pictures of beautiful places. There was a National Geographic photographer once that said, if you want to take better photos, go to beautiful places. If you want to take beautiful photos, go to beautiful places. And that just stuck with me. And so that's why I think I found it easier to do so when I'm in front of a huge waterfall at a national park, or if I'm standing looking at the Grand Canyon. All I gotta do is lift the camera and boom, it's there, right? And I think that is translated to, if I want to have a breathtaking moment, a moment where my family and we're just present and we're together, what if we just went to places like these where we can just go, and then we let our surroundings influence how the day goes.
Right. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy like the hustle and bustle of a city.
Yeah.
I love experiencing new food. I love using public transportation. I mean, there's just something really, the energy of a city, especially a walkable city, where you can just go anywhere you want.
Like that
ease.
moment when you are dressed and you walk out of your hotel and you're on the sidewalk and it hits you. I love
and you're
that.
like, I'm going to be out here all day. Like there's so much to do. I love that. But as a young family, we found that our girls didn't love that vibe as much as we did. You know, cities are a lot different for a kid to experience. And so that is kind of why the season of our family, I think also is what pointed us in the direction of being outside more. We already were drawn to those kind of experiences and that kind of rest. But then our girls being able to go on a trip, open the car door, we have a trunk full of snacks, and the kids can just like run and play, but then we get to appreciate the beautiful thing, but then they get to look for wildlife. It just felt a lot more fun as a family than navigating a city with toddlers.
Yeah. Okay, so we got a couple reasons why if you're not already doing this and you're not a nature lover, we got a couple reasons why you should go on a trip like this that is more nature oriented. But before we do so, I want to say that there's no wrong way to do it.
Right.
Like you can have as little or as much nature as you want. I'm just saying nature is good. But I kind of want to just draw out the different kinds of families or different kinds of trips you can do when we talk about nature. Because even we have our capacities.
Right.
You know, because we're not your backpackers. We're not your mountain climbers.
I mean, we literally look up hikes, and we know that our kids have a 2-mile round trip capacity right now.
Yeah.
Like they're too big for us to carry, and they can do a mile in and a mile out. And that's kind of where we're at. Any more than that, and it's just going to be complaining the whole time and not fun. Yeah. So we're not at a season where we're just like showing up to these national parks and doing all the crazy hikes. We're still kind of limited in how we can experience outdoor things.
But Megan, walk me through, like, if you've done cities or beach houses your whole life, and you want to just like, I'm going to try out a national park. You know, what could that look like if you're a beginner in this?
Well, if you're a beginner with like a moderate budget, I would say to pick a national park or pick a state park and stay the night at the lodge in the park, because usually those lodges are nice.
Ugh.
You have to be a little bit of a planner because they book out, especially in busy seasons like summer.
Yeah.
So you need to plan a little bit in advance. But some of these lodges, we stayed in one in Yosemite, and it was just, it made our experience because you never had to leave the park. So if you didn't have to pack for an entire day. You could go on a short little hike. You could wake up to see the sunrise. Then you could go back to the lodge for a great breakfast. Then you could go back to the lodge to let the kids nap. And you didn't feel like you were commuting in and out. And you just had this experience where you could end the night at the restaurant, in the bar, and have a drink. And it just felt like a great combination of appreciating something beautiful in nature, but also having a lot of those vacation vibes of being able to relax, enjoy, actually feel rested. You know, a lot of times people, and maybe you're a family that loves to hike, so you're going to show up to Zion and you're going to want to do all the Narrows and all these different hikes. And that's awesome. Like that is a totally different way to experience it, where you're outdoors the entire time, you're staying somewhere inexpensive, you walk 1,000,000 miles a day. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes people think that's the only way. And I definitely think there's a marriage. If you don't find yourself being like a hiker, or that's not necessarily exciting to you, there is still a lot of things that you can do that would make you fall in love with these beautiful places we have, especially stateside, that don't require you to be an outdoorsy person, because honestly,
you don't even have to shop at REI to do this.
And the outdoors are for everyone.
Yeah. No, and you kind of went there with national parks, but gosh, that is one of my favorite things, to have the comforts of everyday life in secluded areas. And it just feels that extra touch of luxury when I know that I am in the middle of the Grand Canyon and, I can go to a sit-down restaurant and have a glass of wine, And I just feel like, I don't know, it brings me back to like the old days when the pioneers would come out and explore. But I
don't think they had wine.
Well,
maybe they did. But
I mean, Teddy Roosevelt, I'm sure he brought something.
Okay, not in the lodge.
Yeah. So yes, there's all kinds of ways to enjoy nature. Like I said, there's no wrong way to do it.
Yeah, and one of the other things that I really appreciate about being outside is that it kind of eliminates the need for devices, phones, tablets. I mean, you probably don't have service anyway. But like we were just saying, in a city,
you got to pay to park. Right. You got to get on the Uber or the train or the subway. And then you got to scan the menu to order food. Like you're constantly looking at your phone to help you do things.
Yeah. And I don't think that we realize how connected we are sometimes until we remove ourselves from that connection. Even not your phone. Like maybe it's just the kids watching TV, or, there's so many things that we do that involve screens.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily all bad.
No.
But I do think it's a stark contrast in that it makes me appreciate the days that we are outside, or the trips that we take that are more remote, because it's a hard stop. Those things get to be put aside and just get to be more present. And I think it's really great.
Yeah. No. And my next point is that it just simplifies the itinerary. You already stripped of your devices, and all you're worried about that day is to eat and have fun, and then hopefully have a good night's sleep. Right. So my mind immediately goes to, when we went on a trip to Banff National Park. On the agenda that day was to wake up, go see the lake, get on a canoe, and find some good food.
And that was it.
And then everything else in between, it's kind of like, there's no we got to go here, eat this, eat that, stop at this place, go see this thing, stand in line for this thing to get our photo, whatever. It just simplifies your itinerary, and I think it's really helpful for families, especially with young kids, because as parents, I don't know about y'all, but for me, if I love a good itinerary, and if I have an itinerary, I want to do everything according to plan, and sometimes we've just learned that it's better to have, less things on there.
Totally. And I think we're always surprised with how much fun our kids have. We'll show up at a lake and sit down to eat a snack, and the girls will create some fort in the tree next to us and spend time fighting with sticks, or I don't know. It always surprises me how much fun that they can just create being outside somewhere new, looking for rocks, looking for shells. So, if it's something that's new to your family, I think your kids are going to surprise you and how much they enjoy being unplugged too.
Yeah. And if you're relaxed, then the chances of them having fun is way more. Right. And so I just think nature relaxes me. It calms me. And then the other thing too, that's a wild card. I say, it's funny. I'm laughing at my own jokes because I was going to say, well, I know because I haven't even said the joke yet, but I thought it was corny. The wild card is we can see wildlife Ha
true.
ha.
Well, it does make it, not funny, but it is a good point because it does make it more exciting that you are kind of on the search for different things, depending on where you're visiting.
Yeah.
Whether it be bears or moose or
elk.
I mean,
or if you're even fishing at a river, like to catch a fish and, release it. But to see it and like nature, it always gets the attention like easily because it's just nature.
Well, I was going to say there's like a certain sense of wonder and awe. Like imagine the moments that you've had when you feel the wonder and awe. And those for me happen outside. And so it's just one of those things, again, that maybe my kids can't appreciate it in the fullness, but like raising them in a way to like single out those moments and appreciate the beauty that we have around us is like really important to me. I want them to love being outside. I want them to appreciate the beautiful parts of nature that we get to see. I want them to love wildlife. And so in order for them to have an appreciation for those things, we have to model it for them. We have to show them that it's important to us. We have to go on the awkward, windy roads to get to a remote place and show them that it was worth the journey, because once we got there, it was just incredibly gorgeous. Or, get up early to see the elk grazing in a field in the middle of mountains. And then when they're watching our wonder, that instills a sense of wonder in them. And those become things that they love too. And I mean, my only dream in life, well, I have a lot of dreams, but one of my dreams in life is like, my kids are in their early 20s and they call us up on the phone and they don't have to spend time with us anymore if they don't want to, but they call us and they just say like, hey, mom and dad, can we plan a trip to Yosemite? I've been wanting to, I just have always wanted to go back there.
Yeah.
And like, why does that make me teary? No one's surprised that I'm crying, but it's like those moments. Like I feel like that's what we're doing. We're raising them in a way to share the things that we love with them.
Yeah.
And like, I hope that one day we get to see the full circle of this, that they get to desire those experiences without us leading them there. And we get to tag along to the things that they want to do and the moments that they feel are special and worth it. So yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah. It's funny that you said that because I then think about my parents and I think about how my dad, one day we were driving home as a kid and he saw an anteater on the road. Guess what that man did?
Well, I know, but the people don't.
I mean, he pulled over. In the trunk of our truck, he had a gunny sack, like a sack. So he went in the woods, caught that anteater, brought it home just to have and then when we got home, I don't know. This is mind blowing now that I'm telling the story because as an adult, like I can't even do this. But we got home. He built a cage. He built a cage with wood and chicken wire. Apparently, we had that. He did it and he put it on the front in our front garden. And the anteater, I mean, it's as big as this table. I don't know how. This is mind blowing, but this really happened. And we had the anteater. And then the next morning, we woke up and it was gone.
And your dad's intent, though, was just to admire it for a few days and then give it back.
Yes,
he wasn't planning on keeping it.
My dad, he was literally born and raised in the jungles, and he had all kinds of pets. He had a panther one time. The first day Megan arrived,
just casually, he had a panther once.
Yeah, he had a panther, all kinds of
the day that I arrived cats. To meet them,
right,
he had just caught an owl.
Yeah, that
was sitting on your front porch, like a big owl.
Yeah,
a wild owl.
Right, and just to have for a day or two.
Yeah, he just likes to look at them, and it was his wonder for wildlife and animals that he then passed to you.
Yeah.
Because when he sees anything, even when we tell him stories of animals that we've seen, he has this like contagious sense of wonder and appreciation for wildlife.
Yeah, yeah.
And he shared that with you.
Yeah, and and now I do the same silly thing like when we see deer on the road, or like it's just basic instinct of humans. Like when we see animals, like we just stop in our tracks. Mm-hmm. There's something so like attractive about nature, about animals that I think is so cool. That like I think if we don't teach our kids to appreciate it, like it's, I don't know, there's a bond there.
Totally.
You know, and yeah.
One of the things I was going to say too as we wrap this up is there's an account.
I'm not ready.
the people are.
Okay.
They got lives to go back to. We appreciate you listening. And if you've made it this far, I would be remiss not to mention that we're glad that you're here. And we'd love for you to share this podcast with your friends. Leave a review. That is important too. But more than anything, I think the biggest compliment would be if you took a screenshot of you listening, you shared it on socials, or if you texted a friend and said, hey, I thought of you. This would be a great podcast for you to tune into, because yeah, that would mean the world. So if you think of somebody, invite them to listen. We'd appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
And one of the things or resource that I thought was fun that we could kind of end on is there's an account on Instagram. They also have a website called 1,000 Hours Outside. And basically it was started because the founder or founders, I'm not sure, read that the average child spends so some are more, some are less, spends 1,200 hours on a screen every year. So whether that's an iPad, a TV, that they're in front of a screen on average for 1,200 hours. So the goal is to counter that as much as we can with time outdoors. And so they have a little printable that's free. They have a lot of resources. They have a blog. They have an Instagram that can encourage you in ways to get creative to bring your kids outside. But their whole premise is let's get kids outside in the rain, in the sunshine. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're going to figure it out. We're going to get them out there. And
why haven't we done that?
I know we need to. I mean, we could start halfway. It's halfway through the year. So we could just fill in like 500 hours because they have a free printable that you can kind of track and show your kids this goal. And every hour that you spend outside, you color in a little part of this like tree trunk. And there's 1,000 squares. And the goal is from like January 1st to December 31st. Your goal is to somehow spend 1,000 hours outside. And depending on where you live, maybe that's more practical in the summer. Yeah. And if you spend a lot of time at the beach, you know, you can kind of spend 8 hours outside one day, you know, and figure it out. But even if you don't do it, even if you only make it to 700 hours outside, you and your kids still win.
Yeah.
Like you can't lose.
Right.
Just even inching towards that goal and being mindful of it, you still win.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we should do it. And maybe come January 1st, we'll like share it again and get people to do it with us, or at least shoot the goal to spend as many hours outdoors as we can. Right. But yeah, I just thought that was a fun resource and we can tag them in the show notes. So,
well, folks, that's another episode of Did You Pack Snacks? Also, we didn't even talk about how when we're outside, man, I become like a caveman. Like I just need all the snacks. I just mentioned the name of our podcast and I realized, oh yeah, whenever I'm outside, I go like, oh my gosh, I need to bring all my snacks with me.
Yeah, you need to. Those remote places don't have great snacks.
Right. Oh, or I mean, can I tell another story?
Are you sure?
Just really quick. I went to the Grand Canyon one time. None of us packed food. I had to drive an hour and a half away to buy groceries and then drive another hour and a half back to the campsite to cook dinner for everyone. And since then, I do not go outside without some food, y'all.
But can I add one thing to that story?
What?
We weren't married.
No.
You were with a bunch of dudes.
A bunch of dudes that apparently ate bird food.
And I never let you forget snacks, babe. So you're good from here on out.
Our kids won't let us forget.
That's true.
And we won't let you forget. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Bye.